Daniel, my man, how are you?
What's happening, bro? How you doing?
I'm good, man. You're down there in sunny Florida.
Yeah, it's beautiful down here. I love it, man.
Yeah. So, man, look, you've done a lot in your life, right? You fought MMA, you've done the WWE, you've done a lot. What got you into this physical world, let's say? Like where did this all start for you?
So I think like wrestling with my dad was super fun when I was a
Okay.
kid. I
Okay.
wrestle with my son now. Like he's 19, just turned 19 months, and he's
Okay.
like this 37 and a half inch tall, like little 19, big 19-month old. The doctor just told us he's 37 and a half inches, and she's like, he's 100% plus. I'm like, they usually say like 99 percentile, whatever.
Right.
I'm like, I didn't know you could be over 100% plus. Like,
Yeah.
what is this
Both of my
100%
kids were
plus?
there.
So,
I
so,
feel you.
so, so he just loves eating. He loves playing. He's got muscles. Like, it's amazing to watch. But I believe spending time with my father when I was young, wrestling around with him, um, started me off in like that physical kind of like, I loved to connect that way. And I got into fighting because I went to juvenile hall the year before and beat up a kid, and I was pissed off in life. I didn't understand like emotional and belief intelligence.
What
So
were you pissed off about?
they labeled me as special ed. Like they put me in special class, labeled me as learning disabled. Um, and they you know what? So here's the crazy part. In school, because I'm in private schools now, but in schools, when I was a kid, same today, 99% of the time they're going to tell you what you're not good at, and then they'll give you more time to figure it out. That's not real world. You know that. What are they going to do? Like, you're not good at an armbar, right? Oh yeah, just take out double the time in a jiu-jitsu match, like to figure that one out. No, like it doesn't make sense. And so my mind doesn't work with letters and read them aloud or understanding them. So I can read it and I don't. For whatever reason, the comprehension level is super challenged. Um, so I figured out how to learn on it. I figured out how to put the right people around me, and now I read 60-page contracts and school some of my lawyers. It's pretty funny. But it was super challenging when I was a kid. So I was picked on and bullied and teased, and eventually you know I was angry. I beat somebody up and went to juvie and there for a weekend, and that wasn't fun. I'll tell you that, being locked up. And then I met Frank Shamrock and Javier Mendez a while after that. And funny part is like you ever like so I went back to my parents after I met them. I'm like, Mom, Dad, can you pay for like this gym membership? And they're like, uh, we just paid for your lawyer. So no, we're not going to pay for a gym membership on teaching you how to beat people up. And I'm like, but so thank God my dad is an amazing dad and was an amazing dad. The first day of work when I was 12 years old, he's like, "You're 12 years old. It's summertime. You're a man." So he rolled up his sleeves and he took me into the bathroom at his small company. He had a mid-sized company, 40 employees ish, and he rolls up his sleeves as a CEO and he shows me how to clean the toilet. So I went back to American Kickboxing Academy and I said, "Hey, I don't have the money. My parents don't have the money, or they won't give me the money. Can I wash your toilets and wash your mats?" And Javier was like, "Yeah." So huge blessing in my life that one coach believed in me and gave me an opportunity that changed my life.
Look, our story's the same there. So when I went to college, I mean, so I did martial arts my whole life. My parents paid for it, but then I went to college and I didn't have any money. So I'm all my jiu-jitsu teacher opened, had a school, and I was like, hey man, can I clean and trade for tuition? And he was like, yeah. So but now I'm the owner with him. So I went from cleaner to owner,
That's so cool.
So now we own together. So yeah, it's possible. But yeah, I had to clean toilet. You had to clean toilets and I had to clean toilets. So
So I think it's the best thing in the world. I tell every time I speak to my kids at different schools about topics about work ethic at a young age. I'm like, number one, if you get good at the job that nobody wants, you will be wanted by more people. So if you go work for McDonald's, or if you can't even get a job at McDonald's, they won't even give you an interview. Go to McDonald's and clean the toilets. And they're like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, go to Walmart, figure out how to get 20, $30 to afford the materials to go clean the toilets, and do that every week.
I
And I
said this to
guarantee you them, like,
yeah,
right?
go. I said this to one
The,
of my
the manager,
a
the
guy, a
manager's
guy,
gonna,
a guy at
the
our
manager's
school
gonna.
wanted sorry, we're a little delayed,
No, go
but
ahead, go ahead. You go ahead. Tell me,
a
tell me,
guy at
tell
our
me.
school wanted a job, and I was like, I don't think I don't hire any of that, right? So like, because that's like it's not my job. And I was like, look here, I don't think we have one, but look, I bet you they'll teach you how to do the job for free. Right. So you just show up on, like, you talk to them, find 8 hours throughout the next month, come learn how to do the job. And then I guarantee you the next time we need somebody, you're going to be the first person they call because they don't got to train him. It's already done. He did it on his own time. You know, so this is such an important skill.
It's those little things, but people, I think that people today, I've heard this thing on Instagram last week. It's like, if you want to learn and grow and get connections, go give somebody 90 days of your time. And if they're like, obviously pick out, like, maybe interview them. Hey, what are you looking for in your company? What's your vision? Do you want to grow? You know, some basic questions. But if you give somebody, if I gave somebody 90 days, or when I go speak for free at a school, or when I open a door for somebody, like whatever that is, when I do that without asking for anything, which I do a lot of the time, I learn, grow, meet somebody new, solve somebody's problem. Like, it's amazing to be able to see what I can easily do with one phone call in 5-10 minutes of my time. I'll give you an example. One of my students at my high school just graduated in January. He tells me he wants to go to automotive school. I said, do not go and spend $60,000 to $100,000 on automotive school. He goes, why not? I go, because I'm gonna help you get it for free. I go, I can't guarantee you this, but I'm gonna help you. Can I? He goes, okay, I'm interested. So I connected him with Miami-Dade College with a career source program down here in South Florida. They have career source, which is like job training. Definitely if you're like first generation going into college, that sort of thing. This kid's first generation. Parents manage a couple gas stations. So they do all right, but not like really well. And he just got approved by Land Rover to do an apprenticeship program. So in 2 years, for the 2-year program, instead of 1 year, he'll get paid $60,000 and he gets debt-free college.
On the job training.
Like, priceless. Like, people don't understand. There's so many. I'll give you another thing. Anybody listening to this, there are right now 400 or 500 jobs to drive a bus in Miami-Dade, to wash a train. You can get paid $60,000 to $80,000 a year washing a train. Washing a train, like, who 60 to 80 G's a year with, like, I think it's 40 to 45, and then you have overtime. So you spend 80, 90 hours a week. You could make, I've heard, up to $100,000 a year washing trains. Like, come on, like, you want to make money, or like, and then you can go follow your dream. You want to drive a big vehicle? I mean, there's so many jobs that you can make money and do what you love to do every day.
It's an interesting thing, especially for young people right now, right? There's a lot of opportunity in the world. They just have to learn how to seize it. You know, you have to learn how to seize that opportunity. And the beautiful thing for them, right, is that they have so much time to fail, right? When you're 19 years old, like, you can fall flat on your face and then just get up and do something different. You know, so
I don't know how you tell your kids, but I say teens, late teens, and the 20s are for learning what you love, learning what you don't love, you know, figuring it out, having fun, learn, get mentors, get wisdom, learn. Your towards your later 20s and your 30s are the building years. So build a business, build a career, build a family, but spend your time to figure out what you really love to do, which a lot of time I say, don't go to college. If you don't know what to do, don't go to college.
It just depends, right? It just depends. If you know you want to be a lawyer, you got to go to college. If you know you want to be a doctor, engineer.
Well, no, that's actually not true. In, I think it's 2 or 3 states in America, you don't have to go to law school to be a lawyer.
Right, but that's 2 or 3. For the most part, you have to go to, right?
Totally, right?
For the most part, if you need to be a doctor, you've got to go to college. You got to get a med degree.
For sure.
Engineer, you got to go take all the math classes that are, like, you have to go learn this shit. That's just the way.
Yeah. But does that, like, you want to be business? You want to be a chef? You want to be like, there's a million careers that you can go do without ever spending a cent in a formal education, but you can go do an apprenticeship program with an owner of a business and do it for dirt cheap and live in your parents' house till you're 30 years old.
That's what people don't want to hear. Hold on. This is what people don't want to hear. They want to get on Instagram. They want to take fancy pictures next to banging ass cars with banging ass chicks. Right? This is what they want to hear. They don't want to hear that.
I had a Prius for 10 years. It's so funny. I met my wife and I had a Prius and she's like, really? I'm like, 49 miles a gallon, really? And so it's interesting because, and she was just joking with me, obviously, because I'm a big guy, like I'm
Right.
275 pounds, right? But she was like, "Are you serious?" Like, I'm like, "Here's the deal. It's not how much you make, it's how much you spend." And I love the Prius, like 49 miles a gallon. I didn't have to, I have a truck now. I have a Tahoe and I have a Silverado. And I have it because I have a family now. So I want a little more safety. But at the end of the day, I am spending $100 to fill up, 90 something dollars to fill up. And I'm filling up sometimes twice a week. It's freaking insane. Like, this is insane on how much it costs. Plus inflation. I'm not even going to go down that whole political path, but
We don't need to
it's
go there.
crazy. No.
Yeah.
It'll be a more vibrant podcast, but we don't have to go.
So yeah, I mean, that's part of the problem, but yeah, learn a skill. That's basically what we're saying. And it depends on what your skill is that you love, that you need to go learn. There's many different paths. Please, like,
So I would say two things. I think school is only good for two reasons. And I tell this to every kid in our high schools. Number one, learn how to learn. Learning processes, learning styles, functionality, how to get clarity, how to fall through, how to be on time, how to have focus. Learn how you learn to the ability where you can you can internalize the process, where it's not just you're doing it, but you're actually learning from your experiences on what you do good and what you do not so good. And I think the second thing is network. Build relationships, because your network is your net worth long time, and not just financial.
Right.
I ask every kid, I go, would you want to be rich, or would you want to, and with cancer, or would you want to have good health? And 99% of people will say, I want good health. So this whole flashy whole thing is all egotistical. And at the end of the day, I believe most people in this dimension, this world that we're in right now, have lost their centeredness on how to love themselves and how to love life and enjoy it.
That's a really good point. How to love yourself, right? Because that's it's got to start there. It's got to start there.
So I'll give you. We've been doing a lot of belief intelligence training. So I find that people are taught about emotions, but not beliefs, and the belief creates the emotion. The belief actually doesn't create. It's interesting on emotions versus feelings versus words that we describe the feeling or the emotion. And so a lot of people lately that I've talked to is they have all these what they call emotions, but they describe them with words, but they come from a feeling. So let's say somebody gets angry, you have this feeling in your body. And my brother's a psychiatrist, so I learned these things from smarter people than myself. But you have this feeling in your chest, or this feeling in your head, or this energy going through you, or through a body, not you necessarily, but somebody. And I mean, I've had it before. I love to take accountability for my feelings and what my beliefs are. And so I create this off of a belief, and then I'm like, why did I just get all worked up on that? Like, I choose not to believe this anymore. And I shift my belief so that I don't repeat the same thing if it doesn't serve me. But if it does serve me, like, it protects me, or it gives me awareness, or it helps me, love. Like, my purpose is to love. So if I can go out there and love, then it's a whole different world.
It's a great way to look at it. Moving back to your story a little bit. So you go to Frank Shamrock's, right? To AKA.
Yeah.
You're cleaning the mats and the toilets. Where's it go for you from there?
So I went pro. I fought my first fight. So I started training at 17, had my first fight in Japan for X1. Brian Johnson was training me too. And so they flew me over to Japan to fight a guy from Texas. So two white guys in Japan fighting in a different country, right? I think I got paid like $500 or $700 to go, a different country, but the whole trip was paid, which was absolutely amazing. And I just love the experience. I love the coaching. I love the mentorship, and then I go to WWE. Actually, I went back to college. So I was wrestling college at that time, and I applied for one of my mentors, Dave Meltzer, and his wife, from the Wrestling Observer newsletter. He's like, hey, check this out. And his wife sent me some stuff, and I looked at the Tough Enough, and I'm like, I'll apply for that, and I did. And it's crazy because I applied for the one before, and nobody knows this. It's actually, I never talked about this before. I'll plug it on your show. I applied for the one before, and I had I was actually had the feds show up at my house. So I applied for Tough Enough. So I did Tough Enough 4, which was $1 million Tough Enough. But in Tough Enough 3, I had the feds show up at my house because they said that I was selling marijuana, and they didn't find anything ever, but they ran into my old roommate, and they ran into me because he told them where I was, and they thought I was doing something. He was doing something, and I didn't have anything. They didn't find anything. They tried to charge me. It was a pain in the ass. So I actually had a drug. It's funny because I work with so many law enforcement. I'm law enforcement now, but I do a sheriff deputy program. I'm a sworn officer out of Arkansas, and I had a felony drug charge coming up.
So you couldn't get on Tough Enough.
Tough Enough didn't, and this was the biggest blessing in the world because Tough Enough 3 was on MTV. Then, and they only got paid $50,000 if they got the contract, right? Like it was like zero. So I went to $1 million Tough Enough. The next one, everything was cleared off my record. We're good. And actually still on my record. I leave it there, and I have one other one that I leave 2 things there because it's couple of the biggest lessons I've learned with cops that were unauthentic and not good humans. And so I talk about that all the time with being law enforcement at this point, but that's a whole different story.
I'd love to talk about this with you for sure. It's funny you mentioned this because you got lucky. Dwayne Ludwig got unlucky with the fastest knockout because he got knockout of the night, right? And at the time in the UFC, the bonus for knockout of the night was an Xbox, okay? And then the very next bonus went to 45 G's, like the very next UFC. So he's like, yo, Dana, come on. And he's still never he's like, dude, he's like, not only did I have the knockout of the night, it was the fastest knockout for decades, right? Like 20 years. He's like, hook a brother up. An Xbox? He's like, an Xbox is $350.
Oh man.
And
I got blessed,
45
right?
large, you know?
It's crazy. I could have been making 50 for the first year, but I made 250, which then I saved a ton of it to when I went back to fighting.
Right.
And then I went back to fighting. I fought in Strikeforce. I fought for a couple of the companies, and you know, it was the experience to be a pro athlete was awesome. I wish I look at today, and I don't wish anything, but I'm super blessed on who I had. But I know that there were people in my life that did not care about me. Most athletes are not cared about. The company doesn't care. Your man, like everybody's out for themselves. It's a dog eat dog world. And I thought some people were there.
Sport doesn't care. Sports
Correct.
Don't care. Pro sports don't fucking care about you. But they're not made to, you know?
Yeah,
they're not made to.
And they water tested me every time, right? And I look at this stuff today and I'm like, hold on a second. So you're telling me that an athlete can't take something to make sure their body's safe or you know, like strong, which they water tested me. I passed every time. Like obviously I'm not doing dumb stuff, but then at the same time, I look at like top CEOs on prescriptions that these guys are you know, on what are they called? Brain pills, like alpha brain that Joe Rogan's like rock star, but his is over the counter. But there's these neurotropics and these things today that are so powerful that make us focused and deliver.
The only argument is that you can really hurt somebody in fighting. In all other pro sports, I want to see it. I really do. I want to see it in football. I want to see it in basketball. I want to see somebody dunk from the 3-point line, right? Like I really want to see that. You know, that's going to be amazing. And no human's going to do it. They're going to need to take drugs to do that. So that's what I want to see, and I get it. But when I'm throwing my leg at your head, if I could throw it, you know, if I could accelerate it 1, you know, meter per second squared faster, and that would like break your skull, it's a problem.
That is a problem because I can kick people really hard, and I kicked the guy in the head once. So I'm with you.
It's brutal, right? It's cool. It's cool. Like everyone, it's cool when you knock somebody out for a second. As soon as they wake up, it's cool. But when you knock somebody out and they don't move, it is not cool.
So my thought today is like, it's interesting on how we're like the sport, not the sport, the world is like the shooting in New Jersey, right? Buffalo. Like
Buffalo.
we're becoming more desensitized to this stuff over time.
Mm-hmm.
People don't even know like how many shootings there are. Like in America, like you go to other countries, holy smokes! Like you go to. I mean, there's a bunch of my kids and a couple of my mentors had to leave Burundi like 3 or 4 years ago because the militia came in. Like there's just not new shootings. Like these people come in and take cities over,
Yeah,
and they get
we're talking about different things though, between like a shooting and a military takeover.
yeah, it's a whole different world.
Right.
Like it's crazy to be able to see that in America, how many, like I'll tell you right now. So there's 765,000 ish sworn law enforcement, city, county, state, and federal. Let's say
Mm-hmm.
there's like 2.5, 3 million gangsters. There's like over three gangsters, let's say, per law enforcement officer in America, and that's not even known terrorists. And I mean, I can go down the whole, but what's going on? People have no clue about. Like this is insane.
Well, I think this
like,
is our problem in the world, is that we are starting to get a clue, and we had less of a clue before. And that's where all this craziness is coming in, right? Because now we can get our information so quickly, and it doesn't have to be
Yep.
right. And then it can be spun, right? And you can spin it to whatever narrative and this is the problem with our news. And I don't care what news you watch. It doesn't matter if it's Fox, MSNBC, or CNN. Nope. They just spin it. They just spin it to their narrative. What was I was looking at it the other day when the shooting happened, right? The shooting happened, and look, like the dude wrote a manifesto, right, about hating Black people and all this stuff, right? So he's clearly a racist. And then so CNN is going down that narrative, which oh, great. Fox was trying to play this other narrative of a Black cop who went in and saved this and didn't mention the fact that the dude was crazy and racist. Now, flip the narrative a little bit. Make the dude a Muslim who did this. Fox is going to go crazy on Muslim terrorists, right? And CNN is going to start to downplay the Muslim thing, right? Like, dude, just say it what it is. If it is, it is. If you have a racist white dude go shoot up a bunch of Black people, fucking say it. And if you have a Muslim terrorist go in and fucking shoot up a bunch of Americans, just fucking say what it is. It's not this hard.
Yeah.
This is part of our problem. But anyway, we digress.
Yeah, that's a whole different topic.
We'll be on this topic forever.
I don't even know how we got on this.
Yeah, I don't know either. But anyway, how did you make? Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, good.
How did you make your way after fighting? Right, like so you have schools now. You work with law enforcement, because a lot of people get stuck after. You never became the world champion, right? I'm assuming.
No.
Yeah, me either.
I mean, I was the Tough Enough champion, which nobody's ever $1 million Tough Enough. Nobody else has ever won in WWE history, so I got that one.
Right, but you're not a world champion, right?
I mean, there's a lot of world champions,
Yeah, no, like okay, yeah. So that belt behind me says world champion. I'm not a world fucking champion. So
hey,
that
guy behind you right there is a world champion too. He did stuff that nobody else did.
So you didn't like fighting didn't make your life, right? You had to do something after fighting, but it was your dream, this athletic thing. And I think this can be very hard for people to transition from this thing that they thought they were going to be, this athlete or what they wanted to work out, to a change in life to something else. What was that transition like for you?
Hard. Like real hard.
Explain the hard.
So I was caught in a contract for Strikeforce.
Okay.
So I was held in a contract. They wouldn't fight me, pay me, or release me for 18 months. So that was challenging in the first place because I was building it. I was 6-0 pro. I was doing awesome. And then, it was really, really harsh.
What year was this?
Probably one of the hard, 2005, 2006, something like that.
Okay.
Hold on a second. Nope. I take it back. It was, I was 26 years old. So it was 2007, 2008. So I had 2 more fights after, but that was the one that really kicked it. That's where, if I would have had a couple of people in my life that really took care of me, what it was is I wasn't resourceful. So I think my biggest lesson, we have so many resources in America compared to a lot of other places. It's how do you get that resource and how do you use it, add value. 99% of the time I do add value to other people's lives now because it's I have everything I could want. Like, you know, I've got literally everything. I have health, I have a family, I have a son, I own some companies. I provide for over 60 families every month, every paycheck. It's one of the happiest days. I told my staff, I'm like, some of the happiest days of my month is the first and 15th. They're like, "Wow, you get paid?" I'm like, "No, I get to pay you." And they're like, they were shocked. They were blown away. I'm like, think about it. I get to provide for 40 something families now. I mean, 60 something families. It's amazing. But I started a nonprofit. I got on TMZ. What kind of like switched the direction, because I was trying to find myself. I couldn't figure it out. And I got on TMZ, and I one day, and they asked me, what do you think about these kids being bullied, and committing suicide? And I'm like, it's complete bullshit. Like I went through it, didn't like it. Never thought about killing myself when I was younger, but at the end of the day, super challenging. And so that's what helped
Was this
me start to.
struggle? Was this struggle at the end of your career? Is that when this depression was, or
No. Like
this was
well,
younger?
I mean, so this was when I was younger. Yeah, like
Okay.
elementary, middle school. At one point in like fifth, sixth grade, like fourth, fifth grade, I gained a lot of weight when I was younger. And it's interesting now because I look at a lot of like what's going on in our schools or with people around me, and I see I see like when somebody shifts like that over a year period of time, like what's really happening in their life. Like, are they eating right? Well, if they're not eating right, if they're not working out right, if they're not, like, what are those things that are creating that craving to not add, or maybe they're just not focused. Maybe their mind's somewhere else and they're just super stressed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was when I was younger. That's where I got some of that anger and pain and hurt that I created. I created it. Like at the end of the day, nobody can bully me. Nobody can hurt me. I mean, if they hit me, that's one thing, but psychologically, if somebody pulls up and calls me every word there is, I'm only hurt people hurt people. So it's interesting today. I look at it completely opposite about like in school, they go, "Oh, if the bully's doing something, just go tell the teacher." Well, it's not necessarily what you need. Maybe you need to invite that kid over. Maybe you need to get a couple of the kids together and say, "Hey, man, like, we don't approve of this, but at the end of the day, we'd love to be a friend. Like, what's happening in your life?" So I think that there's so many ways to support angry, hurt people. Hurting hurt people doesn't help either, right? Like, you hurt somebody, they're not going to shift. But getting them to actually, I believe, see a future and create more value in their life. I think that's the key. If they have value somewhere, if they know they have something to live for, a family member, a purpose, a vision, whatever that is, they're going to put more energy, time, effort into creating the best possible life, that they can do.
I'm trying to digest what you're saying here. I agree with you, like wholeheartedly agree with you that the only reason that somebody bullies is because they've got something going on negative in their life. Nobody wakes up and is like, "Yo, I'm good." Okay, a sociopath does, but we know that's a very small percentage of people, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah,
people
I mean,
don't.
like, I don't even think a sociopath. Like, I think that there might be something off. Like, there's obviously medical like stuff going on in their lives, but I think a big part of it is hurt people that are hurt intrinsically, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, want to then
Put
not
that
want
on
to,
somebody else. They
but a
don't
lot
even
of
want, they do. They just
it,
that's their action.
that it's some people. Some of them don't. Some of them internally hurt themselves.
Right.
So I met a kid who's I'm still mentoring him. He's 22 or 23. I met him when he was like 17 or 18, and I walked in. He's a foster care kid, amazing kid down here. He was in foster care. Now he's aged out, and he speaks about this. So I'm not saying anything about a foster care kid underage that anybody would know, but he speaks about this now on stages. And he had a broken arm when I met him, and I'm like, first thing I said, went into the area where they were interviewing him, and my father was actually in town with me that day, which is interesting. His lawyer and his guardian ad litem in Florida, and I looked at him and I said, I go, you're not supposed to hit them with your hand. I go, you're supposed to maybe elbow them so you don't break a hand. He's like, oh no, they tried to hit me with a bat because I was trying to rob the drug dealers. And I put my arm up and they broke my hand with a bat.
So he's trying to rob the drug dealers and they hit him. All right.
Yep. And I looked at him, I said, smart trying to rob the drug dealers, because then you don't get busted for the drugs. But it's probably not smart because they have the weapons to protect themselves. So you might want to rethink this methodology.
We need to rethink our career plans here. Robbing drug dealers is not going to be the way this goes.
So we start talking, and he's like, I love doing drugs, and I'm like, I have a big question for you. He's like, what? I go, do you want to feel or not feel? And he's like, what did he say? I don't want to feel. And I'm like, okay, so if you don't want to feel, then what's going on in your life? Like what if you don't want to feel, then what's coming up in all the feelings? And then the feelings are coming from, those emotions and feelings are coming from somewhere of belief. So that kid I can get to easier than a kid that wanted to feel. Because if you're that numb, you've already put yourself in the hole so hard that you don't feel life.
Right.
And then you're just trying to feel. So you're doing drugs to feel, that sort of thing. So it's either you're trying to tame the feeling or you're trying to express the feeling, bring it out. So it's interesting. I mean, we do some amazing things in our schools. We have amazing teams. We have,
how many schools do you have?
So right now, going into September, we have 740 kids, something like that right now. We have 3 main campuses down here, but we'll have 9 campuses. We're opening a couple more right now. We'll have 9, well, either 8 or 9. We're working on one more to see if it's going to go. It'd be a school for kids that are on the spectrum or autistic, that sort of thing.
And explain this. So, is it, when you say schools, is it just like normal school? Like they come in the beginning of the day? Okay.
Yeah, 6th through 12th grade. So we do a few things different. We do 5-hour days. So instead of like 8-hour days, which is usually what schools do. So you come in from 8 to 1 or 1 to 5, or, we're going to do a night shift this next year in a couple of the campuses. So you can come in, you can work all day, and then you come in, 3 days a week. So if you have a job, you only have to come in 3 days a week for 5 hours. I think it's 15 hours total. But we start off every day with morning motivationals. So it's like, how do we focus the mind? Same thing as what I learned in training with Frank. I mean, it's like focus the mind, get your energy right, and get your goals, your vision, and hit what you want in life. And people can get through school so fast. The challenge is that there's a lot of, like in a regular class, you have, let's say 30 kids, and you have 5 slow, 5 fast in that subject, and 20 in the middle. So one teacher has to teach to the speed of the class. And some kids get left behind, some kids finish really fast. So I look at the biggest challenge in education today is we're not supporting the kids at their own pace, depending on the time. And so we created a whole online based school where you can come into our school and learn and get tutored and everything else. But at the end of the day, you can do, there's no homework too. I don't believe in homework at all. Homework back in the day used to be reinforce the same information. Today, a lot of the schools don't reinforce the information, they add more information on. But at the end of the day, a lot of parents don't even know how to do, or they don't have the time to do the homework as it is.
Homework's
today.
just busy work, man. It's just keeping people busy with, if you can't get it done in school, then there's, especially for a kid that like, look, I get it. If you're going to go be an engineer, okay, for an honors, like, okay, maybe you need to learn how to do homework.
College
class, right. But for a kid that isn't going to go to college, he's not doing the fucking homework. So basing their grade off homework and giving them homework, you're just asking them to fail. You're creating this atmosphere where they're going to feel like a failure. So what are we doing? Like, what is the point of homework there?
Yeah, my I know somebody last year that worked for a school. It was a K-6 school in a challenged neighborhood, Miami, and charter company, and they were making the kids do homework. And they found out after the first month or two that the kids weren't doing their homework. So they're failing all the kids every day on all their homework, like 90% of the 5th graders. And so she came up with a few other teachers a way where she said, hey, instead of having a homeroom in the morning and not doing much, let's have them come in and do homework, stuff, because obviously the parents here grandparents don't have time, don't have support, and the admin did not care. He's like,
Now we're
nope,
just perpetuating the system, right? Now we're just
yeah, let's
perpetuating
just
the
keep more
system.
people down.
Yep.
It's just bullshit.
Yep.
But here's the thing, there's a lot of money in that.
Right.
There's a lot of money in keeping people poor. And I think it's the craziest freaking most bull thing that I've ever seen in my life. And you know what? The people that care, there's a small group of people that really care. I found small group of people that are willing to do what it takes with their career to make it happen. And then the other people either want money or don't care.
Yeah. It's for
So
one thing we'll end on this before I ask my last two questions. It's for sure not
yeah.
the politicians with the D or the R next to their name. They for sure don't give a rat's ass about your education.
So I'll tell you that I know politicians on both sides. I am friends with politicians on both sides. I support politicians on both sides. And my number one thing is to understand really the human inside of them and what they've accomplished. I know a guy that's running for a position here in Florida. He's an amazing human. He's run Democrat and he cares so much about kids and impacting. I'm 100% behind this guy. He texts me whatever I can do for him, right? Like, right. And then I know other people that are on the far opposite side that are the same mindset. And I know some of them, but here's the deal. I've had to go through meeting 100 politicians. I'll find 5 of them that I really
right. But nobody knows their names is what I'm saying, right? The people whose names we know at the top, it's very, very hard. But
it's hard for them to get to the top. It's very hard, right? Because you got to go through those ladders and
you got to play the game. You have to play the game.
Yeah, that's the challenge, right?
Yeah, you have to play the game. So, all right, man. I always like to end with these last 2 questions for everybody.
Yeah,
I believe everyone in the world has a superpower, something that they go out and give to the world, and then in return, the world gives them something back that makes you very fulfilled and all of that. And, you know, your superpower, you know, LeBron James's and Michael Jordan's, they can fucking play basketball, right? Ours might not be that. I know mine's not that. So, what is your superpower?
So I think I have 2. I mean, I probably have more.
Okay.
I got 3 actually. One is to look intensely amazing. Whether my son, my wife, my family, my partners, the kids that we impact. 2 is to solve problems. I'm like a shit fixer. I'm really, really freaking good at solving problems. And 3 would be I'm an amazing futurist. Like to be able to see what's going to happen next based upon different perspectives, points of view, and the wisdom I get from mentors. I mean, we built a multi-million-dollar organization and we're just flying. Like it's amazing.
Nice. All right. Last question. And we've basically the whole podcast has been about this, but I think it's really important, especially for younger people to hear, and especially for, you know, people who are go-getters, you know, like to get things done. We always want this ROI. I want an ROI, you know, like if I do something, I want something back from it. There really is no ROI for this, podcast. So why do it? Right. Like I'm not Joe Rogan. I'm not Jocko. I'm not these massive platforms where like you're going to, you know, someone's going to listen to this, be like, yeah, I'm going to go fund another school for Daniel. None of that. Right. So like, why sit down for an hour with a dude that you've never met before and chat it up?
So a couple parts. One, your name and that you were an athlete. 2, if you're doing good things in this world, I want to be able to help you do more good because we got a lot of crap. Like we have 3% in America, we have 3% of the world's population, but 25% of the world's prison population.
Bad.
Right? Like there's a lot of negative crap going on. And there's a lot of amazing people, like what you just said with those politicians that we don't hear or we don't see. Right. There's people like you that are coming up that have the ability to be the governor or a U.S. senator like Dr. Oz, right? Like I've known Dr. Oz for 7 years. This guy is an amazing human. People have no clue what he's really like. I've spent time with him. I've spent quality time. He put me on a show. He put me on his podcast. But I believe that if I can add value to somebody and spend 1 hour or 45 minutes out of 168 hours in a week to then get 300 people say, you know what, I'm just going to go give to somebody this week. I'm going to go add value. I'm going to go like, what can I do for somebody else without asking for anything? And I think the third part is networking is come on, bud, come here. I'll show you my son. Networking is the key. Networking is amazing. And you might come up like at some point, I might be doing schools in Colorado and I'm like, hey, you want to partner on a high school mixed with a martial arts school? And hold on one second. Let me get my son. I'm gonna show you real quick. Come here, big boy. Come here, bud. Come here. Come here, buddy. Come here, big boy. Rachel, the court. There we go. Here, yeah, there you go. You want to meet one of my new friends?
What's up, dude? Yeah, I like those curls. I had curls like that. My kids have curls like that. You want to hear him? He's talking to you. Hi. You want to say hi? So at the end of the day, it's amazing to be able to see what a little bit of time from somebody that had, I have a little brand. It's not a huge brand like, whatever other, athletes or whatever else, but I'm actually doing something with my brand. Right.
And so the more I can add value. And one of my partners said this a couple months ago, he goes, you don't ask for much, but you give a lot. He goes, but the thing is I know other people that give a lot or that ask for a lot that don't get much.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, because at the end of the day, I was in India with the Dalai Lama. And at the end of the day, they don't have hardly anything, but they have more happiness.
It's interesting.
They have more joy.
It's interesting with us in America, that problem,
Dude, it's crazy.
It's crazy.
So
it's a whole other podcast.
Bro, I'm blessed to be on here. The Gospel of Fire is going to freaking rock this world. I appreciate your time. I appreciate what you're doing with gyms and, mentoring the future generation of martial artists and, helping other academies, grow and become successful. So it's amazing to be able to see, just get to know you. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, man. Give everyone a shout out where they can find you, Instagram, social media, your website, all that stuff. Yeah,
you guys can, I have a podcast called Significance Breed Success. I definitely want you on it. I'll have CEO reach out to you and we'll set that up. You go to danielpuder.com. You can go to my Instagram and social media and everything else. And, whatever, Google Daniel Puder, come out to one of our schools sometime and speak. If anybody ever wants to come,
I would love to come to your school and speak. That'd be great. Yeah.
Let's do it, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll fly you out next year.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm just going down the speaking round. I'm ready to announce it to the world. So I'm super stoked to start speaking. I've done
we'll make a really cool event with 200 kids one day and we'll rock it.
Let's do it. Let's go. Guys, as always, as we close it up here, Daniel has his special, unique power that he goes and gives to the world. And I have my unique and special power that I go and give to the world. Don't try to be Daniel. Don't try to be Elliot. Go out there, everybody, and find your own power.